Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I am really excited to be returning to you guys with some updated information. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you to every single one of you who watch my videos. This stuff has gained a lot of traction over like the last year. When I got my first Bartholin Gland Cyst, there were about 3 articles on the internet that had any sort of information whatsoever that helped me. And now there are women talking about this problem, where before it seemed kind of taboo. Modern medicine still just has not caught up. But the fact of the matter is that modern medicine does not address the root cause of problems. They only treat the illness. And the Bartholin Gland Cyst has some root causes that are a little bit unconventional. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So a little bit about my experience with Bartholin Gland Cysts. I got my first one back in 2016. I was in a healthy relationship at the time. I was eating really healthy. My diet was all right. And it seemed like this issue was just a little bit out of place for me. I took to the internet to search for information, and as I'm sure a lot of you have found, there are quite a few horror stories out there about women who have sought medical treatment. As somebody who grew up in alternative and holistic medicine, I knew that there was a way. There was a way to resolve this issue without seeking invasive medical treatment, where my vulnerability would be heightened and I would be subject to procedure that was probably pretty traumatic to my womanhood, and I just was not about that. So I took to the internet and I looked for home remedies. And at the time there was only 1 or 2, and the one that really worked for me at first was called Phoebe's method. I made a video on Phoebe's method a while back, and I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it. I also tried serapeptase. And that is an enzyme that comes from the cocoons of silkworms that helps them to break down their cocoons during metamorphosis. And that is probably why it helps us to break down fluids in our body. That worked for me as well. But over time, those methods just stopped working for me. And I decided that I was going to have to figure out something a little bit different. I realized that in a lot of different home remedies that had worked for women, there were a few common ingredients that existed in something that I had used throughout my life quite a bit for bee stings, splinters, cystic acne. And that, my friends, is drawing salve. And Prid drawing salve from Highlands Homeopathic just so happened to contain a lot of those different ingredients, and that includes silica 10C or 12C, sulfur, comfrey, and a magnesium-based component that I knew would be helpful because of magnesium's ability to help toxicity leave the body. And a lot of you probably know that too, even if you don't really know that you know, that's Epsom salt. And a lot of us use that in our sitz baths. The Prid salve worked miracles for me, as it has for thousands of other women since discovering this method. But despite the fact that I had gotten my acute care regime down pat and I knew something that worked for me, Bartholin cysts just kept happening. I kept getting them no matter what I did. I tried changing my diet up a lot. I tried cutting out meat for a while. I cut out alcohol. I started taking vitamins, but literally nothing was working. After a while, I started to realize that these cysts came around a very specific point in my cycle right before ovulation. And to me, this was just a little bit bizarre. Now, like I said before, Western medicine methodology simply does not provide a lot of information about the root causes of these cysts. But in my communications with a lot of women, if there's one thing that's been pretty consistent with a lot of people that I've spoken with, it's that hormonal birth control, whether getting on it, coming off of it, or not taking the right one, seems to trigger something in these women that causes Bartholin gland cysts. So I started to wonder if maybe the causes of Bartholin gland cysts were hormonal. I started tracking my cycle a little bit better and really noticing where the cyst started to develop and where it left my body. And I started to realize, wow, I think I might have a hormonal imbalance. For those of you who have ever had a history of ovarian cysts, cystic fibrosis, endometriosis, you know that a huge triggering component to these ailments is estrogen. A lot of those ailments simply symbolize toxicity in the body. Bartholin Gland Cysts are the same. It's a buildup of toxicity that needs to be released. And the one thing I noticed for me that was triggering was estrogen. I've always known that I've had a mild estrogen dominance throughout my life, just based on the way that my body does periods. But I never knew quite how bad it was until I started really working to balance it. I discovered a supplement called DIM. DIM is a supplement that helps your body balance estrogen. There are two different types of estrogen in the body. There's the good kind that helps regulate your cycle. It's responsible for fertility and all that good stuff. And then there's E2. And that's the stuff where if there's too much of it, you're going to get painful periods, mood swings, cysts, stuff like that. And it's just really not something that you want to have too much of for obvious reasons. DIM helps you balance those kinds of estrogen. It helps with estrogen metabolism. And basically what that means is that it helps your body create more of the good estrogen and balance the bad. I started taking DIM supplements and I realized that I stopped getting cysts so often. Where I was getting one every couple of months, I was now getting one every 4 to 5 months. But the cysts still weren't going away and they just kept coming back, and I was like, why is this happening to me? And I realized through recalling some of the holistic health methodology that I'd learned from my mother in growing up in an alternative medicine world, that when the body develops an illness, regardless of what it is, even that root cause has a root cause. And I'm going to try and explain this the best way I possibly can so that everyone here can understand what I'm saying, because it's a little woo-woo for those of you who aren't super into alternative methodologies or spirituality or holistic healing of any kind. You're probably not going to quite get what I'm saying, but please just try and listen up. So our body here is present in the physical world. We live in a tangible physical realm where we can see, touch, feel, be present. But our body has different layers of existing. You have your physical body here on Earth. And then in another very slightly different higher vibrational plane of existence, there's something called the emotional body and the energy body. And those different bodies aren't separate. They're you. It's this, just in different planes of existence. Now, what if I told you that those other forms of your physical body can actually get sick? If you guys have been here with me on this channel for a while, you've probably seen the video where I talked about chakras and how that's possibly a contributing factor to the Bartholin Gland Cyst. I have been able to determine over the last year of my life that yes, this is a big one. So just for a quick little rundown of what exactly chakras are, they exist in your energetic body. You have 7 chakras that align from the base of your spine to the top of your head. These chakras are the energetic systems in your body that are responsible for taking in, recycling, and putting out energy into your field of existence. Each of the 7 chakras is responsible for different organs, different emotions, different facets of us living in our physical reality. Now, these chakras can get out of balance. And what this means is that your energy center, that specific chakra that's imbalanced, just won't be working right, moving correctly, taking in and putting out the amount of energy that it's supposed to. It's not rotating, right? Because these energy centers, they all rotate like a spirally little. And these energy centers are what help our organs function. Each chakra is responsible for a certain group of organs in the body. I realized through a lot of study, a lot of meditation, a lot of communication with my spirit guides, woo-woo, that my sacral chakra, which is the second chakra from the bottom, was out of balance, just simply not working correctly. Now stay with me here. Your sacral chakra is responsible for your reproductive organs. Your sacral chakra is your feminine power center. This is your womb space. This is where you as a woman exist and draw all of your power. This is creative energy. This is sensuality. This is sex. This is romantic relationships. And it all exists here in this space. And you can imagine that when this space is energetically imbalanced, it's going to cause some wacky stuff. Because your reproductive organs, as I said, that's your feminine power center. That's where we as women exist. That's where all of our energy comes from creatively. And that energy is so easily influenced by the world as we live in it today. So, real quick, check this out. I'm going to read off a couple of symptoms of sacral chakra blockage, right? Common physical symptoms include constipation, back pain, urinary and kidney infections, gynecological cysts, abnormal menstruation, infertility, impotence. And there's also some psychological difficulties that arise from blocked sacral chakras, and that would be including, but not limited to, depression, low self-esteem, insecurity, detachment, jealousy, and fear. So the thing that this article does not touch on is the fact that your chakras can actually be imbalanced in different ways. Chakras are not necessarily just blocked. They can be overactive as well, meaning that they just have too much energy going on. So when your sacral chakra is overactive, you get things like anxiety, mania, aggressiveness, and arrogance. And it lists the physical symptoms, the first one being cysts, urinary issues, kidney problems, lower back pain. So I think there's a little bit of something to be said for the fact that our sacral chakra is governing this region of our body. And there's no doubt about it that the sacral chakra imbalance can also lead to the hormonal imbalances that I experienced that led to me getting so many Bartholin Gland Cysts. I haven't had a Bartholin Gland Cyst in a year. A whole year after getting them for 3 years straight, every single 2 months, like clockwork. I haven't had one in a whole year, and let me tell you why. This is where we're going to dive even deeper, like we haven't already gone so deep. When you have a chakral imbalance, the only way to really get down to the nitty-gritty and fix the problem is by wholly addressing the problem. This means that you might have to dive even deeper and try to heal some trauma that you may have not even known existed within your body. Our chakras are the places where we hold our energy. We hold our vibration there. And as a result, a lot of our traumas tend to get stuck. So I am going to talk about the root cause, the issue, the thing for me that caused Bartholin Gland Cysts. And through recognizing that my sacral chakra was blocked, I was able to uncover and address it and actually heal years and years of trauma that went all the way back to when I was a child. I'm going to talk about your feminine power. We live in a society where we are so recently out of the woods of feminine oppression. We are so recently in a space where women have power positions, women are being heard, women are discovering things and being honored in science and business and politics. Women have made massive strides just over the last 20 years. I was raised by two very loving, very supportive lesbian feminists. Now, this is an amazing thing, except for the fact that when I was growing up in the early 90s and the 2000s, it wasn't even legal to adopt children as a gay couple. I wasn't even legally adopted until I was 4 years old. My parents had to fight for their rights and mine every single day of our lives. So my other parent, the one who's not my mother, Kathy, was a female in a male-dominated industry. She was a crew leader for the Montana Conservation Corps. She led a team of scientists and field researchers out in the backcountry balancing environmental ecosystems in the forests of Montana. So as a female in a male-dominated industry in the early 2000s, it was pretty difficult to get these men to listen to you. A lot of these new guys especially just did not want to accept the fact that a woman was in a power position above them in a company. I went to work a lot with my other parent, Kathy, during the early days of her working as a crew leader, and I witnessed some pretty interesting communication methods. She often had to raise her voice above a bunch of talking men to even be heard. But this woman had a very masculine presence, a voice that could simply silence men in seconds. She was a force to be reckoned with, and when you pissed her off, she was scary. But this was a defense mechanism that she had developed. She had learned that in order to be heard, in order to be listened to, she had to overpower the men. She had to lead from her masculine polarity. If you are my age or older, as a woman in society, you learned these stories growing up about what it meant to be a woman. And you probably don't know it, but I bet they affected your sacral space. You may have been playing out on the playground when you were a kid, and the boys would be like, haha, you cry like a girl, haha, you hit like a girl, stop being a girl. And you would go to the teacher that was supervising recess, and you would ask, why do the boys hate the girls so much? And she would probably tell you something along the lines of, oh, well, if he's making fun of you, he likes you. Or, the boys are just being boys. So even as young women, we were taught subconsciously that if you want to be strong, if you want to be powerful, if you want to be respected, if you want to be seen as important, don't be a girl. As women growing up, we heard so many messages subliminally from society. Be skinny, but not too skinny. Be successful, but not too successful. Be confident, but not too confident. Always blank, but not too much. Don't be too much. Don't be too feminine in your power. Don't be too powerful. And as a result, we learned these things about being a woman, where if you want to be successful in society, if you want to be the breadwinner of your family, if you want to have a space of independence, you have to lead from this masculine polarity of do, focus, 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 go, 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 force, force, force. That is the masculine polarity, the masculine energy that exists in our bodies. We have both masculine and feminine energy, both women and men do. And in order to come into a balanced state of empowerment, you have to learn to lead from both. Some of these stories might be true to you if you have this weird energy in your sacral space. If things aren't quite balanced, you're probably leading from a masculine polarity. That was the root cause of the Bartholin cyst for me. I have spent so much of my life leading from a masculine polarity in order to be strong that I've rejected my feminine. And it was only when I returned to a space of power in my femininity that I was able to start the healing process that really led towards me not having a Bartholin cyst since I've started this healing. So there are two kinds of power: your masculine power and your feminine power. Your masculine power is the ability to generate results, to be driven, to be focused, alert, protective. Your feminine power is creative. It's abundant. It exists in this mystical, sort of dreamy space that in itself is the power of creation, the power of compassion, empathy, love. And those messages that we've heard from society for so long have led us to believe that you cannot be powerful and exist within that space. That's simply not the case. You can be soft and still be powerful. You can express anger and still be spiritual. You can be a boss babe and still lead from your feminine. The root of a lot of these feminine issues for women energetically is that we're living in a masculine polarity. We need to return to our natural balance and start leaning into the feminine. So the good news is that there is hope for you here. I have been working with feminine polarity diligently for over a year now, and I have gained a lot of insight and healing into my personal process to the point where I am now in a space where, much like I have done with all of these home remedies, I can help you heal the root of the problem. I am going to be making a lot of videos here coming up on the sacral chakra as well as the rest of the chakras in your energetic system. I'm also going to be making videos about how you can be strong in your feminine power and lead from that polarity to balance these energies within your body and return to natural health. I am also happy to announce that I have once again opened up my private coaching programs to the public. The 30 Days to Cyst free program, where I help you uncover the root cause of your cyst and provide you with an action plan so that you can become cyst-free within 30 days, is now yet again open to the public for good. I have also developed a coaching modality that will help you to align your divine femininity and return to a space of feminine power within your body. To learn more about those coaching programs and to see new updated information about Bartholin cyst causes and new remedies for this ailment, you can visit my website at www.michaelaosiggins.com. I'll leave that link down in the comment section. And with that, I will conclude this video. As usual, thank you guys so much for being here, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave them in the comment box, because I absolutely love talking to you guys and answering questions and helping you to heal your body. So with that being said, it was great having you here, and I will catch you in the next video.